All right. Welcome to the new premiere of Ensemble Vim's Unfounded. We had a YouTube link that didn't work, but we have a YouTube link that works now. So way to go, Emily, for fixing it. And welcome, and thank you all for sitting tight. We are going to talk a little bit about our project and introduce ourselves, and then we're going to get right to this awesome video that is a collaboration between visual art and music. It's a virtual field trip that we think you all enjoy. My name is Laura Usiskin, and I am the cellist of Ensemble Vim. Each of us has a delicious drink with us tonight. And so I'll just briefly share that I am drinking a mocktail consisting of club soda, lime juice, simple syrup grenadine with a splash of OJ. And now, Nicole, would you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Frankel and I'm the flutist with Ensemble Vim. Tonight I am drinking a cocktail named after a good friend of mine. I call this the Williams. We got a little bit of bourbon in there and some sparkling water and some sweet tea for the South.
Choo Choo, what's in your mug?
In my trusty Ensemble Vim mug, gotta represent. I just have a Tom Collins, but I call it a Vimlet because it's in a Vim mug. Hi, everybody.
Emily, you might have the best drink of the night.
I have the best drink of the night. It is whole milk, which is one of my favorite drinks. So, yes, join cereal party here.
Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm the violinist on this project, and I have good old trusty water in my water bottle. I am hydrating post playing with my 5-year-old. So,
Kevin.
Hey everyone, my name is Kevin and I'm one of the composers on the program tonight. And so I am drinking currently what is left of Smirnoff with some vodka and some lemon lime. And so I can't wait to hear the piece.
And Sakari.
Hi, my name is Sakaya Dixon Vanderveer. I'm also one of the composers tonight. I've got a bottle of water as well. I just came from teaching, but otherwise I would have tea.
Nice. It is Friday night after all, so please grab drinks and join us for this occasion. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the ensemble. Nicole, would you tell us who Ensemble Vim is?
Certainly. All right. So Ensemble Vim was established in 2019 by a few of us who were avid new music performers new to Atlanta at that time. We recognized the space for and the need for a more vibrant new music scene here, and we wanted to start a group that was reflective of our city. There are 4 of us here tonight who make up Vim's core membership, and that is me, Choo Choo, Laura, and Emily. And we are also the team who runs Ensemble Vim from an administrative standpoint. Otherwise, we are fortunate to have a large roster of wonderful local musicians, such as Jessica, who played violin on this project, and we utilize a model of flexible instrumentation depending on our repertoire. What makes Vim unique among new music ensembles is that we focus on incorporating interdisciplinary elements in all of our performances in an effort to try to elevate the concert experience for our audience and just make it really friendly and interactive environment for them. And it's also really important to us to program and work with composers and artists who are historically underrepresented in our community, and to do so in a way that is celebratory and inclusive without exemplifying tokenism. Otherwise, Vim's mission is based on 3 main pillars. The first is excellence in the performance of music by living composers. We want to bring thoughtful, innovative programs to you guys at the highest standard that we possibly can. Second is collaboration, specifically in relation to the interdisciplinary aspect of our concerts that I previously mentioned. We especially love working with local artists, such as the incredible poet Ashley Hayes, who we collaborated with last season, and the supremely talented Hannah Allen, who is the visual artist that we worked with for this project. Finally, our emphasis is on community. We want to make new music accessible to folks in Atlanta who may not otherwise get to experience this kind of music. So last season, our outreach efforts were directed towards children in Atlanta to help ensure the future of contemporary chamber music. And this season, of course, we have had to pivot towards more virtual community projects, which you can read about on our website. So with that said, I'm going to hand it off to Choo Choo to give some background on this project.
Hi, everybody. So just real quick, the concept for Unfounded came out of my desire to show people that you can really make art out of anything. You know, discovering beauty in the unlikeliest of places was sort of the theme throughout all of this. And as you'll see, our wonderful artist Hannah made these, this beautiful installation out of household items such as toilet paper and cardboard. And Sakari's piece especially, highlights the fact that you don't have to even read music in order to create sounds and, incredible oral landscapes out of just type. And there's also an interactive component. Please grab some unconventional art supplies of your own and create some art, and then tag it on social media, #Vimagery, and we'll repost it on our social media. So, oh, and lastly, if you know of any art or music educators out there who would be interested in using this project, for their classrooms, please feel free to send it to them. We're all about these like grassroots promotion. So I think that's it.
Great, thank you. And just a couple final things before we show the video. Emily's going to talk a little bit about an upcoming project that Ensemble Vim has this spring.
Yeah, so upcoming project starting tomorrow is that Ensemble Vim will be ensemble in residence at the Dance Center of New Music at UGA. And what that's going to mean is that Vim's going to work with UGA composers over 2 workshops and then eventually do a studio recording of new pieces. So talking about UGA composers, I'm going to hand it off to Kevin, who is a UGA composer. Kevin, would you mind telling us a little bit about Aesthetic Samba?
Yeah, sure thing. So the piece you're going to hear tonight is my 3rd piano trio that is entitled Aesthetic Samba. And this was a piece that I had written a few years ago when I was nearing my time in undergrad. And so this piece is part of a set of 3 piano trios that I wrote during my undergrad. And the first being for cello, clarinet, and piano, the second being for violin, cello, and piano. And this one is for flute, cello, and piano. And so what this piece is about is sort of mixing my love for Latin jazz with my love for contemporary classical music. And so it has the influence of a samba, but it also has a lot of multi-metered things. It has some extended techniques. It has just an energy about it. And so it's a piece that's meant to just, you can tap your foot to it in certain parts. You can just, it's really meant to be energetic and to be joyful. And so I wrote this piece in dedication to one of my friends whose name is Nelson Acosta from undergrad. And so I am very excited to hear this piece played tonight by this wonderful chamber ensemble.
Thank you. We had so much fun playing it. Sakari, would you talk a little bit about your piece?
Yes, the piece that is being performed tonight is called Type, and it's for any 3 melodic instruments. I originally wrote this piece for the Phase Ensemble a couple of years ago. They're made up of some of my colleagues from the University of Redlands. And normally their ensemble is flute, clarinet, and saxophone. But one of the interesting things about them is, one, they're also very devoted to contemporary music, but they're especially interested in doing improvisatory works, especially, collective improvisation. And so when I wrote this piece, I sort of wanted to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Normally I do works that are in, standard musical notation. And part of the inspiration for this piece was just the idea behind how, normally when we're reading, whether it's online, a book, a flyer, anywhere, right? Often our interpretation of the text and the tone is derived from the way the text is designed, including the font. A good example is, capitals, you think someone's screaming at you, right? And so when I wrote this piece, I actually chose to use like nonsense text. I created like little nonsense words and phrases from the alphabet. I actually removed any letters that had any musical association. And pretty much the only instruction that I give to the performers is to interpret the text based upon the look of the text and not the sounds that these particular letters create. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing this piece again, and especially since this piece is so different every single time, I'm sure it will be great.
Thank you. And we are going to show you the video, the premiere of Unfounded now. If you have questions for us, the performers, the ensemble, the composers, we are going to be here and we're going to have a Q&A afterwards, a rare opportunity to have the performers and composers in the same space. So put questions in the YouTube chat and we will be fielding them and we'll take them after the video plays. All right, and Choo Choo, I think you have the honors of sharing screen. Go for it.
What does a lowercase u sound like on the violin? What about an uppercase bold letter V or K? Sometimes you don't need to read music at all in order to make music. In this piece, the musicians will interpret different sounds on their instruments based on, well, type.
All right. I never tire. I've seen the video before and I still enjoy watching it. Since we had a bit of a late start, I think we're going to dive into some questions and move through them quickly. And we'll start with the first question in the YouTube. We also had a couple of questions come in outside of the YouTube chat. And the question was, how long did it take Hannah to compose to create the art? And my drink wasn't even alcoholic. And Choo Choo, I wonder, since she created it in your living room, maybe you know the answer to that.
Yeah, I can. So she came a couple times just to kind of put everything together and assemble it. But part of the time she did it sort of on her own in her own place. Like you saw where she put all the different parts together in our place, and then she sort of constructed it on her own. I believe she has a studio elsewhere, and then she came back, brought the whole thing. So it must have taken, I mean, it's hours and hours and hours of work. And truly, I did not expect her to go so above and beyond. I thought it was just going to be like, hey, you did, but as an artist, I mean, I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart, how much time and effort she put into this. Like, and I told her, we definitely didn't pay her enough for the amount of work she did, but I'm really appreciative and hopefully we'll be able to work together again. So yeah.
Yeah, and while you're unmuted, there was a question, how many years have you been playing the piano? Because you are a beast.
I don't know about beast. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. And that was, that's crazy. It's like 27 years ago now. So I'll let you do the math as to how old I am now.
We had a question come in outside the YouTube to the composers. What did you think of Hannah, the visual artist's interpretation of your pieces? Maybe, Kevin, start with you.
Yeah, it was just really cool to see how it all kind of fit together. And I especially love what she did with like these sort of like streaks that went over the painting and everything. That was a really nice touch. I was just like, oh wow, like it's so the whole thing was really beautiful just to see it all come together and to see just the amount of detail that she put into it. It's just really amazing.
Yeah, agreed. Sakari, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll add to it. It's just again, amazing work. It always intrigues me, seeing visual artists work because, for me, music is my thing, art not so much. And so seeing how people, interpret music or other inspirations through art is so amazing. To me, one of the things that stuck out was just the different textures in the piece, and how that in some ways, like in my mind, sort of corresponded to some of the textures in the new works. So it's great.
Awesome, thank you. There was a question about who was playing which part in your piece. And so let's each out ourselves. Rob, you got it right. I was the bottom line. What about Nicole? You were?
Mine too.
Two. And obviously Jessica, me. Yes. And there's a question about how did you decide on the sounds to make for that piece? So as Sakari said, the score was very open to interpretation. And so it's like a performer's delight to get to pick what we wanted to do. And so we assigned a technique or a sound to each letter. We weren't sure, Sakari, if that was going to be okay, and we did it. So M for me was a trill, which means you're going back and forth between two notes really fast, like so it was and then N was like a wider trill. O was a harmonic, which is this very pure sound. And now we had flute, so sometimes we'd come up with a technique and then Nicole would have to flutify it.
So like sometimes I would do like a tremolo or a timbrel tremolo, a timbrel trill, and then sometimes I would like do vibrato when you guys were trilling, and like instead of a glyph I would do a lip bend, that kind of thing.
And we made up bold, I think was loud, maybe no, capital letters was loud, italics was low register. We had different things for the bold, italicized, and capitals. Am I leaving? Jessica, do you remember any of the other ones?
I think you covered most of it. We actually, one of the more interesting choices that we made was that the letter Z, we decided was a kind of a dissonant, double stop kind of. We decided that it was unusual and it needed to sound that way as well.
And I did singing and playing when they were doing double stops.
That's
But I
right.
am actually super curious to think what to hear what Sakari thinks about that, because I don't know if that is different from maybe like the approach that other groups have taken, because we were pretty like structured and approaching your very improvisatory piece.
Yeah, it's so cool to hear how you guys approach it. Actually, the group that premiered at the Phase Ensemble did a similar thing, and they told me afterwards. I think it was one of like the dress rehearsal or something. They showed me this. They created a legend, basically, the same idea that you guys did. So it's interesting to see how, different approaches, sort of correlate. I'll also add to when I was composing it, I had sort of in the back of my mind certain like I had to think of what parameters to sort of control and what to leave very open, especially since it is already a very open-ended piece. And so the way I did that when I was composing is I had in the back of my mind, and I won't reveal which ones, but like, oh, this one's loud or this is legato or, different articulations and things like that. And it's interesting how between, both interpretations, there's some overlap there off of the same kinds of letters. So it's so cool to hear that.
A question has come in to Kevin. Did we groove all right in your piece?
Yes, I loved it. I love the energy. I love the aggression. I love the beautiful moments as well. Really, really well done. I just, yeah, y'all 10 out of 10. Loved it so much.
And we're not paying him to say that. So there was a question about how to keep in touch with Hannah's art. Does Hannah have a social handle to follow? And so I think we've put that in the YouTube chat. So if you want to follow Hannah and her awesome art, she specializes in toilet paper, I believe. So that's just an amazing thing. And as someone said, toilet paper has a new dimension in the last year, as we all know. I will take this time to mention that we are offering this project free to the community. If you liked the performance tonight, and if you'd like to support us, we do have a Venmo account, and that's where we can accept donations of any size. It's just at Ensemble Vim, no punctuation or capitals, just at Ensemble Vim. Any amount will help us make more projects like this, and we appreciate it. And as Choo Choo said, if you know of educators who maybe want to share this with a class, we kind of think of this as a middle school and older kind of video. So we think it might be appropriate for that age range. And we're going to be looking to pass it to educators to hopefully inspire their students to make art on their own as well. Do we have any final questions? I don't think so. All right, well, it's been a pleasure sharing this project. Many, many thanks to our special guests, Kevin, Jessica, Sakari, for giving your Friday night to us and for sharing your thoughts and your wonderful art with us. We are so grateful, and it's just been a really fun journey for us. And we will look forward to seeing everyone at the next Vim event. So with that, have a great night.
Bye, everybody.